G'day YouTube, welcome to the inaugural video for Bulk Gaming. Let me begin by saying that I'm recording this in the suburbs, and as such there may be unintended background noise. Chief of these is likely to be from my furry security system, my two dogs. I've executed a precautionary sacrifice for them, so hopefully preoccupation levels remain high. With any luck, pedestrians may pass our property in peace and you can enjoy the video uninterrupted. With that out of the way, today I'm going to take you through what I'm calling an initial sampler series of videos taking a basic look at the idle champions of the Forgotten Realms. I've been playing this game for some time now and have found it quite difficult to find easily digestible content online to help new players understand the game's concepts and functions. Sure, early on, your boy Bruno here will take you by the hand and lead you through some basic tutorial type activities. But after that, you're on your own, left out in the cold to bumble your way through. So in an effort to alleviate you from that, I've decided to knock out a series of videos to help you when you start your own idle champions journey. I'll be providing you with some insights that I've gained thus far, whilst being what can only be described as ineffective and inefficient. Hopefully this guide will help some of you to be kicking ass, taking names and looting bodies before you know it. Before we get too carried away, today's videos are taken using version 1.168.1, and that's relevant because when you decide to venture into the Forgotten Realms of Faerun for yourself, it may be a different version and your experience may vary slightly. There'll be a few elements that I'm going to cover during the video series. Firstly, the general screen layout and the information available to you as a player, as some of it is not as obvious as you may think. After that, I'll go through some of your active and passive interactions with the game. We'll take a quick look at the enemy types that you'll be putting a beat down onto throughout your journey and why enemy types are important. And then finally, we'll go through an overview of your heroes, how they work, and the fundamentals of how formations work. I do need to caveat here that I'm by no means an expert. If you've come across a hidden nugget of hard-earned experience in-game, then please leave a comment below, as our intent here at Bulk Games is to be helpful and assist other gamers, with an appropriate amount of good-natured ribbing of course. I hate to do it, but please like and subscribe because, well, we all know how YouTube works, so I won't beat on that drum any further. To allow me to keep this somewhat brief, I pre-prepared this account, which is why I've got higher goal find, and I've done a few bits and pieces to assist in the demonstration. But fear not, my friends, I'm here to guide you now that Bruno has dropped you like a hot fart in an elevator. Before we dive into the content like a kebab at 2 AM, I'd like to take the chance to indicate my first impressions. This game is a 2D side-scrolling action game with a cartoon-esque style, which in my opinion suits this casual, potentially RSI-inducing D&D strategy battle management game to a T. But below the appealing veneer, there's a point of consternation. Whilst idle is right there in the name, this game starts off as anything but. I would define the early game as mildly idle. And if you're anything like me, you'll find that you're finger slapping or mouse clicking the screen consistently and wondering in bewilderment, when does the idle start? Alright, moving into the layout of the screen. We'll start at the top left and we'll work our way around because why not? As you can see, there's a little GUI hiding toggle button there and one for the bottom, so that you can take sweet screenshots of your teams laying down the smackdown. From there, this first banner denotes a number of things. The red pendant with the coin indicates your current gold. This figure is your current pool of unspent gold, and the figure underneath is your current percentage of gold find. That's influenced through faith generated in the area, as well as some heroes do impact gold find as well. Below that, you have a number of buttons to navigate through to different elements of the game, which we will touch on in future videos as we go. Above that, dependent with the sword denoting your DPS, and I've currently configured to have total team base DPS at the top, running average DPS below it. However, you can choose to display one or the other, or both like I have. From there, you can see when you hover over, you'll get a pull-out page which will give you a more in-depth breakdown. Each of the heroes currently in the formation along this side with their base damage and their running average represented. The green denotes the current highest DPS in the team. If you so desire, you can click this little arrow and move this guy anywhere on the screen that you like. However, I found most of these make sense where they are. Next, you've got all the offers in the shop, because these days microtransactions are the order of the day. And finally, the daily rewards, a system that was introduced just recently, and like most of these are in game, you get some stuff for free and you can spend some of your hard earned to unlock some premium loot. Next banner over here is your current progress banner. At the very top is the current area you're working on, with the breakdowns of the objectives, the restrictions, the rewards, and formation. You can also click this to view the campaign map, but I've never really found a reason to do so. From there, you can also see the formation structure by picking up one of your characters. Next, you have a bit of a description of what's happening in this current area and a progress bar. Like most good RPGs, it's either kill a bunch of things or collect a bunch of inane objects. Below that, you can see these 5, which denote what I like to call the current bracket of the adventure, being a grouping of 5 levels. The 5th level of which is always a boss encounter, who's just champing at the bit to have a crack at your heroes. We'll jump forward and engage. From there, you can use these blue arrows to navigate between unlocked brackets, and you can also toggle auto progress on or off, which will allow your heroes to keep pressing until they can't get any further. You can also use this yellow arrow to go forward. As you can see there, a cursed warhorse champing at the bit because I know jokes. Below that, you've got your buffs and debuffs with a handy tooltip for each one to explain what's happening. Next, as you can see here, you have a quest and challenge tracker, which you can use to just track current progress on different things. This will become more prevalent when we're talking about patrons. Down here, you have a couple of little toggles for join the Discord, news, the changelog, support, and a handy little flyover for hotkeys in game. Moving across, we have what's called your hero's bench, or at least that's what I'm calling it, and in that there's 12 separate seats. Each hero is designated to a seat and can't be used elsewhere. From there, we'll dive more into heroes and how to interact with them later in another video. From there, you have your click damage as well, which you can level up, and we'll go more into that through the interactions as well. You also have your save formation menu. I've saved an example, pretty pointless, but it's there. And essentially what that will do is it will save the current formation in its current configuration, as well as any feats that have been unlocked for heroes within that formation. This will become more useful generally once you unlock further automation and more than one team, but we'll go into that in a future video. Moving across, you can see here, this is what your currently toggled option for leveling up is, and you can cycle through leveling 1, 10, 25, 100, or by pressing Alt you can toggle to the next upgrade, and then this option gives you to the next upgrade including the upgrade. Moving across, we have your Bud, which is your base ultimate damage. There's a bit that goes into that. You're welcome to have a read of the tooltip yourself, but at this stage, more or less, it's really just based on the hardest hit you've done in recent time. Important underneath that though is the area based monster health, which you'll want to keep an eye on to make sure your team is in a good position to press forward in your current area. Next up is your hero's ultimate abilities. They are exactly what they sound like, and then as you unlock more of them for more heroes in seats, they will fill up the rest of this space. From there, you've got your inventory with a whole bunch of goodies. We will go into what some of these are further down the track. You have your familiars, which we will go more into as we explain interactions, but essentially they simulate as if you were interacting with the screen and help you go from not idle to mildly idle. You have a jukebox as well, good times, and this one here is for either a current event or an upcoming event. There is an event currently running, so it's telling me a countdown of when that ends, but if there's no event running, it would then have the countdown to when the next event starts. So originally when I started recording these, the intent was for this to be one video. However, I realised no one's interested in listening to me talk for 40 plus minutes, so I've cut it down into a series. As a result, there's no official outro, so instead, feast your eyes upon the attention here